Namaste everyone, welcome to Yoga Basics. We're on our third class of Yoga Basics, and it's a cumulative series of weekly practices. So if you're watching the recording on YouTube, if you'd like to join us live on Zoom, Pacific Time, Mondays at 6 p.m., just scroll down to the information under this video where you can find the link to get in touch. All right, everyone, please find a comfortable way to sit. You'll want to have 2 yoga blocks, or as I mentioned before, you could use toilet paper rolls and if you don't have blocks. But to sit on, grab a pillow or a folded blanket if you don't have blocks. If you do have 2 blocks, you may like to place them side by side on the lowest level like this, so that you can create the shape of a meditation cushion, nice and wide, and elevate your 2 sitting bones towards the front edge of your 2 blocks. And that way, if you're somehow trying to bring the legs in front, maybe sitting cross-legged, you don't have to. You can allow the knees to fall more easily, and then the spine can lift up tall more easily too. So take a moment to shift around if you need. Make sure that you're sitting in a way that is comfortable, that is grounding for you. You can feel equal weight along the left and right sides of your pelvis, and your body can feel relaxed. Wiggle around, maybe shake the head, roll out the shoulders, take a few big exhales as you might need to just mentally and physically arrive, whatever it took for you to arrive to this practice. So I'd like to share a Yoga Sutra, particularly Sutra number 1.14. Now, if you're not familiar with the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, they are basically the guide to how to practice yoga, and they were written back in the 2nd century by the sage Patanjali, and they've been translated in modern times in many different ways. So one translation of Yoga Sutra 1.14 is, it talks about how to have a firm rootedness in your yoga practice. And it mentions 3 important qualities for that. When yoga is practiced continuously over time and with wholeheartedness and sincerity, it will become a firmly rooted practice. So I like to see the yoga practice itself as my teacher. Here I am guiding you sort of like a tour guide, giving you ideas of what to pay attention to, what to notice, how to align your body to optimize energy flow for you. But really the practice itself is the teacher. And the more you show up, the more you realize how the practice is actually benefiting you. I can tell you all about the different scientific benefits. Let me ask you this. Why do you want to practice yoga today? What brings you to the journey of yoga? And when I say journey, it means it's not just, oh, I show up one day and then maybe I'll show up in a couple years. Right? A journey is something we take step by step, and it evolves. The more we show up, the more it can teach us things. I found a wonderful website called Simply Yoga, and it gives us some questions for self-inquiry to get rooted in our practice with this Yoga Sutra. So let me ask you this: what deserves your time and energy? It's so easy to say, I don't have time to practice yoga today, or practice meditation for 5 minutes this morning. Really, we have all 24 hours in a day. Nobody has more or less. And it's really about prioritizing. Within those 24 hours, what are you choosing to give your time and energy? The second question is, how are you honoring what is truly important to you? So it's really important to ask yourself, why am I on this yoga journey? What is the big picture of it all? What inspires me about it? Where you're not feeling like you're forcing yourself to show up, but rather you're feeling inspired to enrich yourself by showing up. Another question is, how are you ensuring that your practice is important enough for you to dedicate your presence to it? There's so many things that we can do on autopilot. We could wash the dishes and be thinking about what I'm gonna do afterwards. We can be in downward facing dog and be thinking about what am I gonna make for dinner, right? So the quality of your practice and how it truly impacts your life is dependent on the quality of your presence when you're practicing. If you're choosing to be here for an hour, be here for an hour, right? And notice how wholehearted practice, as the Yoga Sutra says, truly can make a difference for you. As one of the teachers who came from India to the West, his name was Swami Rama, pointed out, once your intention is clear, once your why is clear, then you can reinforce your desire to move in that direction by reminding yourself, I need to do this. I can do this. I want to do this. I will do this. So establishing full presence, which is a key to wholeheartedness. When you remember that there is only one time, here and now, you can enter the practice from a mindset of having infinite time, so that instead of rushing from one task to the next, you attend to what is happening right where you are. Remember, this moment is the culmination of your life up to now, and it's the portal into the rest of your life. So navigating this moment successfully, wholeheartedly, and with sincerity will bring you into the next moment without agitation. Lastly, this practice, as I said, is a lifelong journey, right? Developing any habit, whether it's yoga, playing tennis, learning a different skill, starts one step at a time. So take your time. You will find that the more you commit to your meaningful intention, the more it makes sense to keep practicing. One moment at a time, one breath at a time. At some point, you look back and realize how far you've traveled in your practice and how you have been getting better at regulating your physical, mental, and emotional tendencies, so they are less of a hindrance and more of a support to your goal. So what is your why? Take a moment to get in touch with that. Maybe place your hands at your heart center and close your eyes. Allow a few deeper breaths to connect with your bigger picture for practicing yoga in the first place. Is it for peace of mind? Is it a spiritual practice for you where you connect to your soul level? Notice what's most meaningful for you about your practice. And whether you want to say it out loud or mentally, clarify your intention for this practice today. And anytime you lose sight of that intention, come back. Give yourself a moment to pause and reconnect with your why. So I'd like to start the practice getting our breath a little deeper, expansive. And one way to do that is through chanting. And chanting, as you might already know, is one way to calm the nervous system, making the sound as a duration and feeling the vibration soothe your physical body. So it's a way to tone the vagus nerve. And chanting the Yoga Sutras, particularly this one that I pointed out today, can be a helpful way of integrating it in a vibrational manner into the cells of your body, into your mind and being. So the Sanskrit words for the sutra that I mentioned, and I'll repeat what the sutra means. When yoga is practiced continuously over time, and with wholeheartedness and sincerity, it will become a firmly rooted practice. I'm going to chant each Sanskrit word of that Yoga Sutra, and I invite you to listen to me chant it and then to echo, to chant it out loud on your own right after. I'll pause after each one. So sit up tall and relax, where you can breathe fully. Take a deep breath in, fill up your belly all the way down to the pit of the belly, fill up the rib cage. Exhale slowly through the lips. One more time to prepare chanting. Inhale. Full, deep, expansive breath. Take your time, no rush. Get to the very top of the breath. Take your time releasing the breath. Exhale everything out through the mouth, all the way out. So again, I'll chant the word and then I invite you to echo after me. The first word is sa. Your turn. The second word is tu. Third is dirga. Kala. Nairantarya. I'll say that one again. Nairantarya. Satkara. Asevita. Druddha. Bhumihi. So I'm gonna chant a few words and then I'll echo myself, for which I'd like you to echo with me, and then we'll do the whole thing. So here it goes. Satu dirga kala. Together. Satu dirga kala. Nairantarya. Nairantarya. Satkara asevita. Satkara asevita. Dritta bhumihi. Dritta bhumihi. Now the whole thing. I'll chant it 3 times so you can jump in when you feel ready. Remember, we're also using this to elongate the breath. So focus on deep breath in and chanting with a long breath out. Here we go. Satu dirga kala nairantarya satkara asevita dritta bhumihi. Satu dirga kala nairantarya satkara asevita dritta bhumihi. Satu dirga kala nairantarya satkara asevita dritta bhumihi. Maybe joining your hands to meet at your heart, which is a gesture of gratitude and a gesture of uniting the different elements of your being: breath, body, mind, spirit, intention. Now let's continue chanting 3 ohms together. Remember that Om is that primordial sound, a recognition of our interconnectedness. Inhale deeply. Pause a moment and notice the effect of chanting, how it feels for you. Now, last week we practiced 3-part breathing, which in Sanskrit is called Durga Pranayama, as a way to consciously expand the breath and to really pace ourselves. Now, one question came up from one of you. You told me, or actually an issue maybe, told me that somebody mentioned that when they were dividing the inhale into 3 parts, when they got to the 3rd part, they didn't have enough breath to fill up the upper chest and upper back. So this is a great observation. So the breath work itself can be a teacher. Like I said, the practice is the teacher of how to slow down the breathing, right? Sometimes we want to just like take a deep breath all at once. And then we haven't saved up enough to really elongate the inhalation. One of my teachers has said the quality of your breath tells a lot about the quality of your life. It's a reflection of it. So are we rushing to check things off our to-do list, just trying to get things done for the sake of checking it off, or are we fully immersed in the present moment, taking our time to use our senses to really be here? We talked about that wholeheartedness in the practice. So let the breath work itself teach you about mindfulness. So we're going to practice 3-part breathing. If you're sitting cross-legged, you might like to switch the leg that's in front or on top just to even out your hips, as we're already hip opening here. And just a reminder, if you weren't here last week, 3-part breathing goes like this. You imagine that your torso from your pelvic floor to the bottom of your skull is a jar. And we're going to divide that jar into 3 cross sections. The lowest cross section, or the first part, is from your belly button down all the way around. And the second cross section, or the mid part, encompasses most of your rib cage. And then the third cross section, or the uppermost, encompasses your chest, upper back, and neck. It might help to place the left hand on your chest to indicate the top part, and your right hand on your lower belly to indicate the bottom part. So we're going to inhale just 1/3 of the breath into the bottom part, then pause. Then we're going to inhale another third into the midsection and pause. And we're going to inhale a 3rd inhale into the very top, and we'll hold the breath in, making sure to relax the shoulders and sit tall. And then we'll exhale everything out through the nose really slowly. And then we'll hold the breath out, and that's 1 cycle. So let's practice 3 cycles of 3-part breathing together, and then continue 2 cycles on your own after that. You might like to close your eyes, especially if it helps to visualize where you're breathing into, and then sit tall, relax the shoulders. Prepare to start by exhaling this breath. Hold the breath out. Into the lowest part of your torso, inhale 1/3. Pause. Into the middle of your torso, inhale 1/3. Pause. Into the top of your torso, inhale the last third. Hold your breath in, relax and observe. Through your nose, exhale everything very slowly. Hold your breath out. 2nd cycle. Inhale the first third. Pause. Inhale the 2nd third. Pause. Inhale the last third. Hold the breath in, relax. Exhale through the nose, slowly, everything out. Hold the breath out. Last cycle together. Inhale the first third. Pause. Inhale the 2nd third. Pause. Inhale the last third. Hold the breath. Exhale everything slowly. Hold it out. Continue on your own 2 more cycles. Take your time to finish at your own pace. And when you do, relax into natural breathing and observe how you feel after that. I can tell you that this 3-part breathing technique is meant to calm your nervous system and help ground your energy. And it really is your unique experience, each part of the practice. So now let's begin slowing the breath down and balancing the length of the inhales with the length of the exhales while creating a very soft ocean wave sound closing the lips. So the sound comes from gently narrowing or constricting the back of your throat, like you're breathing through a straw here, and inhaling into all 3 parts slowly. Take your time. The third into the lower belly, the third into the rib cage, third into the chest and neck. And then when you reach the top of your breath, take your time to balance the length of the exhale just as slowly as the inhale, tuning in to a soft whispering sound that you're now creating. And all the while the lips are closed, you're just breathing through your nose if that's possible for you, if you're not congested. So this is another breathing technique that helps to relax the nervous system, but it also promotes inner and outer balance. It warms up the body, creating a light inner furnace to prepare us to move into postures, which we'll do next. And the sound serves as an anchor, an object of focus for your mind, so that when you steady your awareness on the sound, it helps to steady your mental focus, helps you to be present. If you ever lose sight of the sound you're creating in the breath, as soon as you notice you've forgotten, come back. And then that's your way of practicing presence, mindfulness. All right, keep the sound going, and I'll invite you to come down to your hands and knees. You might want to put the blocks actually on at the front, in front of your mat. And set your hands flat on the floor where you can see your fingers are really spread wide and your index fingers are pointing forward, or you can slightly turn them out, but not pointing at each other. Stack your shoulders right on top of your wrists. Step your knees about 2 inches behind the hips, and we're gonna start to move slowly as the breath. So let the breath guide you. As you inhale next, glide your torso forward, roll your shoulders back. At the top of the in-breath, you're looking up, and this is called cow pose. As you exhale, contract your abdomen. Slowly bow your head and tuck your tailbone. So at the bottom of the exhale, you're rounding the back and you're in cat pose. Let's keep going. Inhale, the chest forward. Slide the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Lift your chest, lift your gaze. Exhale, lift the belly inward towards the spine. Tuck your tailbone slowly under you and drop your skull. 3 more times. Inhale, glide your chest forward. Feel the shoulders sliding away from the neck. Lift the heart up. Exhale, pull in the belly. Begin to round the back. Drop the head. 1 more time. So the Sanskrit word for this posture, these 2 postures together, is Bitalasana. Bitalasana, or cat-cow pose. Now relax after the exhale and bring the inner edges of your feet together so they touch. Either have your knees together or separate them as wide as it's comfortable, and lower your hips all the way down to your feet. Rest your forehead on the ground and extend your arms forward. This is an active version of child's pose. Some people perceive this posture as a resting position, so when you're in a yoga class and you need to rest, you can come down to this pose. Other bodies don't find this relaxing at all. Maybe they have injuries in the knees or something like that. If you are one of those people that has an injury on the knees, you can put a blanket that's folded right up against the backs of the knees so that there's a spacer between your calves and your hamstrings, and then you can lean back and see if that's more comfortable. So if this position is not at all comfortable for you, Get creative in how you make it comfortable, or stay in tabletop like this. That's fine too. So let's just pause, connect to your breathing, listen to the inhale. Can you still hear the sound of the ocean in the way you're regulating your breath? We're going to start to move the body even more, but really tune into the quality of your breath. If your breath starts to sound choppy or feel difficult, then know that you always can choose to slow down on your own and not go the pace that the rest of us might be taking. Or you could stop, take a moment to rest if you need. So very important is the breath. Let it be your teacher as well, telling you when you need to slow down. All right, so let's come on up again to tabletop pose. Separate your feet so that your shins are parallel to each other. Look at your knees. Make sure that they are hips distance apart. Your knees are not touching each other. And your wrists are right under your shoulders. Again, the index fingers pointing forward or slightly turned out. The palms are flat. To start. Now with your hips right on top of your knees, we're going to take a kneeling version of downward facing dog. So begin to engage your abdomen, right? If you touch your belly, feel that it's firm here. So firm it in a bit and then keep it firm so it's not just dumping towards the floor. You're firming it in. Imagine you're creating a flat back, so press the shoulders away from the neck, lengthen the neck, and then start to walk your hands forward while keeping your hips right on top of your knees. Let your hands reach as far forward as you can bow, relax the neck, and create the feeling of a flat back. You're still firming in the belly. You're reaching the palms forward. The arms are straight. The elbows are not touching the floor. Now here, spread the shoulder blades wide across your upper back. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment, but just feel this posture for 3 more breaths. This is a kneeling version of downward facing dog. Sometimes it's called puppy dog pose. So you want to feel that you're actively pulling your hips back away from your hands, and your hands are actively reaching forward. It's like you're being pulled in both directions of your spine. There's an active lengthening here. All right, so come back up to hands and knees. You might sit for a moment. So now let's pay attention to the shoulders when you're doing that downward dog. You don't want to feel like your shoulders are hiking up towards your ears like this, where it's creating tension and it's hard to breathe. You want to relax the shoulders down the back. So as you're extending the arms forward right now with your palms face down, spin these outer sides of your upper arms, they're called your triceps, downward. It's like you're trying to flip the palm to face up, but you're rotating from the shoulder socket, not the wrist. So spin your triceps downward. I'll show you sideways. And allow your shoulder blades to spread wider across your upper back by doing that. This is called externally rotating the upper arms. At the same time, press the shoulder blades down your back so you're creating more space in your neck. So do those 2 actions, spinning the triceps down and pressing the shoulder blades down the back. And now return to the kneeling downward dog. Hips on top of knees, active belly, arms straight, hands reaching forward, and back flat. And once you're there, how is your breathing? Keep listening to your breath, keep regulating the breath, and continue, as you stay still, to spin your triceps, the outer upper arms, towards the floor. Spread your shoulder blades apart and lift the shoulders back away from your neck as you reach the top of your head forward. Engage the belly. 3 more breaths in this kneeling downward dog. Feel the breath moving into all 3 parts of your torso. Taking your time, not rushing the breath. In fact, imagine you're savoring each part of the breath. Keep your knees where they are. Walk your hands closer to you until your wrists are right under your shoulders again. As you press your hands into the floor actively. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. And as you exhale, step the right foot forward beside your right thumb. So this is going to require a lot of contraction in the abdomen. If your foot doesn't go all the way forward beside your right thumb, use your right hand, take your right calf or ankle, and place your foot forward. You want to make sure that your right ankle lands right underneath your right knee. You don't want to have the ankle way back here and the knee way forward, as that's a lot of pressure in the knee that you don't need to put there. So make sure the foot is forward, knee on top of heel. And here's where you might use blocks. You could put blocks underneath your hands so that it allows you to relax the shoulders, open up your neck and your chest, all this area where the breath needs to flow. And listen to the quality of your breath here. We're in a kneeling lunge with the hands down. Remember, we talked about this pose last week, where we imagine as if we're dragging the legs towards each other without visibly moving your legs. It's called an isometric movement. So as you imagine you're dragging the legs towards each other, feel that the muscles in your legs become more activated. You're able to feel a sense of lift in your pelvic floor. Your lower belly engages. Instead of the belly dumping down into your front thigh, you're pulling it in towards the spine and lifting the belly towards the heart. So continue one more breath, and then set the blocks aside and step back to your kneeling downward dog. Knees directly under hips, arms straight, hands reaching far forward, hips actively pulling back. Neck is long. Rotate the triceps downwards, spread the shoulder blades apart. Lift the shoulder blades away from your neck, engage the belly. 3 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Walk the hands towards you until your wrists again are right under your shoulders. Press the floor away with your hands and inhale, raise your left leg behind you. As you exhale, bring the left foot forward beside your left thumb. Notice how far the foot lands, and if it's way close to your belly, take it with your left hand and place the foot forward until your left knee is directly on top of your left heel. Remember, you want to keep that knee joint safe by not overbending it. Place your hands on blocks or the floor. And now remember that your blocks can be 3 different levels. Choose the level that allows you easy flow of breath. And then begin to isometrically drag your legs towards each other. Feel the engagement of your leg muscles and the lift of your pelvic floor. Draw your belly inward towards your spine and lift your navel upward towards your heart. So instead of resting the belly against your left leg, you're actually lifting the belly away from your left leg. This is an active pose. So relax the shoulders down, gaze on one focal point just in front of you, and listen to 2 more breaths. The Sanskrit word for this posture is Anjaneyasana. Anjaneyasana. It's a kneeling lunge. This time, tuck your right toes. Place your blocks in front of your left foot, maybe on the tallest height, and step your right foot forward to bow at the top of your mat. Separate your feet hips distance apart and parallel to each other. With your blocks about a foot in front of your toes on the tallest height, press into your blocks and inhale to stretch your spine forward into a flat back. Exhale, bow towards your legs. Press down with your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising all the way up to stand. Raise the arms overhead, but relax the shoulders. If your shoulders start to rise up, you can bring the hands more forward. They don't have to go as far back. Look up. Exhale, join your hands in prayer and trace your thumbs to your heart center. Pause a moment and come back to your why, your bigger picture. What inspires you to practice yoga? Bring that wholeheartedness and the sincerity of your intentions into the next movements connecting to breath. Half sun salutations. Exhale this breath out. As slowly as you inhale, raise your arms forward and look up. Exhale, bow from your hips. If your back rounds, bend your knees so it's not rounding. Press your fingertips on blocks. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Place your hands and your knees, stay here. Inhale, slowly rise all the way up. I forgot we were doing half sun salutation. Exhale, bring your hands together in front of your hearts. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms forward, look up. Exhale, bow forward. Press into your blocks. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Exhale, bow towards your legs. Press through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms, rise all the way up. Relax the shoulders, look up. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. So we're saluting the sun, which is a great source of energy for all of us on this planet. And when you bring your hands together at your heart, you're also acknowledging that source that lives within you. So we're gonna take it through a very slow and a variation of sun salutation C, incorporating that kneeling lunge and the kneeling downward facing dog. So it's not gonna be all continuous movement, but I want you to focus on your breath the most, right? Or please focus on your breath. So let's begin with the hands together at the heart. Inhale through all three parts of your torso, taking your time to reach the very top of the breath. Listen to the whispering sound as you close your mouth and exhale just as slowly out through the nose, all the way to empty. Now let's move to the breath. As you inhale, sweep the arms forward and up, so your arms are at the top when you're at the top of your breath. As you exhale, hinge from your hips. You can bend the knees so you're not straining yourself. This time, place your hands on blocks of the floor outside of your heels and step your left knee back. So here's that kneeling lunge. Remember to adjust the height of your hands as much as you need so that your shoulders are relaxed and you can breathe fully. We're gonna stay here a few breaths. Peek at your right knee. Make sure it's directly on top of your right heel. It's not in front of the heel. Make sure your legs are as wide apart as your hips. You're not trying to balance on a tightrope. Bring energy into your legs as if you're dragging the legs towards each other isometrically. Lift the pelvic floor, pull the belly in and up. One more breath in. As you exhale, set the blocks aside and step back to your knees, knees under hips, kneeling downward dog. Walk your hands forward with the arms straight and engage your abdomen. Lengthen your back. Spread the shoulder blades apart. Spin the triceps down and lift the shoulders away from your neck. 2 more breaths. Inhale through all 3 parts of your torso. Exhale just as slowly. Listen to the whisper. 1 more breath. Slide your hands towards you until your heels of your palms are right under your shoulders. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, step the foot forward beside your left thumb. If it doesn't make it there, grab your ankle, bring the foot in front. Place your hands on blocks if needed. Kneeling lunge. So front knees right on top of the heel, isometrically drag the legs towards each other. Draw in the belly and lift it up. Relax the shoulders and then steady your eyes on one spot, just straight ahead. 2 more breaths. Tuck the right toes, breathe in. Exhale, step the right foot forward and bow. Place the blocks in front of your feet and press into them. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to meet at your heart. Let's do one more on the second side. Inhale, sweep the arms forward. Look up. Exhale, bow forward. Place the blocks outside your heels. Inhale, step, right knee back, kneeling lunge. Pause, breathe here. Front knee's right on top of the heel. Isometrically scissor the legs. Pull in the belly, lift it up. Relax the shoulders. One more breath in. Set the blocks aside. Step onto hands and knees, kneeling downward dog. Reach the hands forward, arms straight. Hips stay right above the knees. Engage the abdomen. Spread the shoulder blades apart. Roll your triceps down. Lengthen the neck. Shoulders away from the neck. One more full breath. Walk your hands towards you until the wrists are right under the shoulders. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, step it forward beside right thumb. Maybe take the foot and bring it forward so the front knee's right over the heel. Place your hands on your blocks. Inhale, stay here, pull in the belly, lift it up, relax the shoulders. Feel energy in your legs. Tucking your left toes, one more inhale. Place the blocks in front of your right foot. Exhale, step forward to fold. Press through your feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, join your hands together at your heart. Pause a moment. Maybe close the eyes. Stay right here and notice what you're feeling in your body, in your energy, mentally, emotionally. What's the effect of your physical yoga so far? And your breathing yoga, your pranayama? Let's make our way down to sit. Take a moment in a gentle hip opening posture. When I say hip opening, it's kind of a vague term. Often people think of hip opening as when you're turning open the thighs, but you remember the hips go in all different directions. So a lunge, what we were doing earlier, is also a hip opener. But for the general language of hip opening, let's turn open the thighs, bring the soles of your feet together to touch. And if you find that your back wants to round, it's hard to sit up tall and breathe well, you can create that bench out of your 2 blocks on the lowest height like this and sit up on your bench or a pillow. So take hold of your ankles or your outer feet and press your pelvis down firmly so that you can rebound a lengthening up of your spine. Let the shoulders relax, breathe in, chest is slightly lifted, and then exhale, tilt your torso forward from the hips just a little bit. Pause here, press the hips down some more. Lengthen the spine forward some more as you breathe in. Exhale, if possible, fold another little bit. Maybe you walk the hands in front of you. And let's continue just folding to the capacity that allows you to have long, calm breaths and to relax your shoulders. So your neck is long, shoulders are not rounding or shrugging. 2 more breaths here. This pose is called bound angle pose. In Sanskrit, it's called Baddha Konasana. Baddha Konasana. Walk your hands towards you and firm in the belly. Start to lift from the chest. Breathe in, slowly rise. All right, we're gonna go into just a very short, simple breathing technique. So make sure, again, you're sitting comfortably, you're sitting tall, relax. Maybe you're still on your blocks. And this is a breathing technique that helps to relax more deeply, right? Prepare us for corpse pose, which is next, and then a brief meditation. So you might find it helpful to rest your hands either palms face up, the center of your lap, your thumb tips touching. This is a gesture or mudra that cultivates a feeling of inner balance, equanimity, neutrality of mind. Or another mudra that cultivates a feeling of groundedness is to bring your thumb and first fingers to touch and to place your palms face down like this. So see what resonates most with you. If none, you don't have to do it at all. And then relax the shoulders, lift up through the back of your skull. And this breathing technique is simply breathing in and out through the nose and counting to 5 as you breathe in, and then to 7 as you breathe out. So I'll count backwards from 7. And that's it. Just exhaling a little longer than you inhale. But focus on being present with the breath. Remember that wholeheartedness of the practice. All right, let's try 3 together, 2 on your own. Exhale this breath to prepare. Hold the breath out. Inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale through the nose for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue 2 more cycles. When you finish, take your time, no rush. Then allow your breath to just flow naturally, no longer controlling your breath. Continue to observe how you're feeling, noticing the effects of the practice. And if your eyes are already closed, you might keep them closed as we start to make our way down onto our backs to lie down and rest in stillness. Corpse pose, or in Sanskrit, it's called Shavasana. We're going to be here for a few minutes before we sit up and practice meditation for a couple of minutes. So this is a very important pose. We're practicing full presence here while exerting little or no effort. Closing your eyes and relaxing. staying in the position you're in, resting a little longer, keeping your eyes closed. Notice what you're feeling in your physical body now. Sense your feet, sense your legs, scan all throughout your body. Then being very gentle and gradual, we'll start to wake up the body just little by little. Making sure to take your time. You might keep your eyes closed and find a small part of your body to just subtly move. Maybe you slowly turn your head and just feel your neck. Maybe you gently wiggle fingers or toes. Feel the sensations of little movements. And then begin to slowly move other parts of the body. Maybe you begin to circle your hands. You might ease into stretching your arms overhead. And then eventually turn over onto your right side, resting your head on your arm or prop, just lying on your side. Let's pause here. Become aware of the way your body is naturally breathing now. Sense how the breath feels. And through your breath, observe your energy. Has anything shifted about your energetic state? Then slowly pressing your hands into the ground, begin to slowly lift your skull, your torso. Gently rise up and position your body in a comfortable way to sit. Practicing meditation for 2 minutes. So for today's meditation practice, a mindfulness technique, I'll invite you to choose a sound to meditate on. I'm going to turn on a more consistent sound in the background for this playlist here. And you might choose to focus on the sound as it is, practicing non-judgment and just landing your attention on the vibrations of the sound. Or maybe there's a sound happening in your background, like a heater or air purifier that is consistent. You can do that too. Some sound that's not distracting, something that's kind of an even sound, like a drone. So let's begin. If your attention moves to something else, once you realize that's happened, gently come back to the sound you were focusing on. This is part of meditating too, is returning to your object of focus repeatedly. Notice how you're feeling now mentally. Notice how you're feeling emotionally. Part of the purpose of meditation is to connect to your inner stillness, your inner source of peace. Giving your mind a rest from all the thoughts and dropping your attention in. So notice the effect of that part of your yoga practice. In closing, you might join your palms together at your heart. Again, a gesture of uniting different elements of yourself, and a gesture of gratitude as you bow in. Thank yourself for showing up to your practice today, for making it a priority, for making your intention for your yoga journey a priority. I also thank my teachers for allowing me to be here sharing this practice with you, what they've passed down through knowledge. And I thank their teachers and the teachers way before them for the origins of yoga that help us all to benefit from it today. Remind yourself of what your intention was for this practice. Maybe say it out loud, reclaiming it. Remember the 3 qualities that allow you to firmly root in an effective yoga practice. Continuous practice over time, wholeheartedness, which includes presence, and sincerity. Notice how your practice evolves as you integrate these. Let's join our voices to close, chanting Om 3 times. Think of someone that you care about, that your practice may also spill benefits onto them. As you're making an offering, as you're chanting Om. Inhale to prepare. Bow in, acknowledging the light within you. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.